Hot damn, am I glad y'all set it off. What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to, of course, Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said about Chelsea, giving you my opinion on it. More importantly, asking for yours, mate. Lots to get into today. I'll be citing an article from The Telegraph talking about Tuchel being granted as many as 6 signings. You might find that difficult to believe at the moment with the current, perhaps not so much action going on in the foreground, but 6 signings could join Chelsea this summer. We'll be citing the article. Also, Timo Werner being offered to Juventus, so we could get Matthias de Ligt in the other way. Hakim Ziyech off to Milan. Lots to discuss. Settle in. Get comfortable. Do consider dropping a like on the video, please. That's very kind of you. And subscribe if you're new. Of course, you're welcome to. You don't have to. Disclaimer, I might be lisping a tiny bit in today's video because I'm wearing aligners, for your teeth. I know you can see them because I'm quite far away. And if I speak quite fast, you might hear me lisp a little bit. And I just generally speak quite fast. So apologies for that, but, I'll... You're just going to have to deal with it, mate. All right, then. I'll link the article down in the description for this Telegraph piece written by Jamie Johnson and Matt Law. We're going to reflect on that, and then we'll talk about some other stories rotating and circulating around the media. Exclusive! Thomas Tuchel promised up to 6 summer signings by new Chelsea owners. Talks between the head coach and Todd Boehly following Romelu Lukaku's exit have identified Matthias de Ligt and Raz Sterling as targets. Thomas Tuchel has been promised as many as 6 signings by the Chelsea new owners and have set Champions League qualification as a minimum target for their first season in charge, which they aim to close the gap on Manchester City and Liverpool. And pause. Alright, so the pressure's off. Tuchel must be absolutely loving this so far. You don't have to challenge it, because Roman Abramovich would historically probably be, right, you got a challenge for the title now, mate. Todd Boehly's coming in, he's like, settle down, I really like you, Tuchel, I'm going to give you loads of power, and you've just got to make sure, Champions League and sort of rebuild here. He probably understands how there's a rebuild job on. No pressure to win the title immediately. I like that. Head coach Thomas Tuchel has held transfer summits with co-owner Todd Boehly and the key staff this week to finalise Chelsea's transfer plans after agreeing a deal to loan Romelu Lukaku back to Inter Milan. A big money move for Juventus defender Matthias de Ligt has been boosted by reports from Italy claiming the Dutchman will not sign a new contract and is ready to move to the Premier League. Just pause quickly. On Todd Boehly, there's multiple reports going around that also in The Athletic as well, that he is super, super hands-on with Thomas Tuchel, and in fact, he looks like he'll be infinitely more present at Chelsea Football Club than Roman Abramovich ever was. Reportedly, he's always available, whereas of course you could never speak to Roman. He was quite the elusive owner, to say the least. Todd Boehly and Agbali from Killer Lake, you can always contact them via email. Apparently, they're very responsive, even when they're not in the UK, which is really, really impressive. He's making all the calls himself, Todd Boehly. Of course, he's stepping in as sporting director for the moment. But this is apparently more active than he's been in any of his sports teams. He is all in with Chelsea Football Club. At least for the moment anyway, while he feels like he probably needs to be. Interesting as well, there's reports saying that he's trying to bring trading back into the Premier League. Like American sports, of course, player trading is massive in American sports. But player swapping, as we call it here in Europe, it doesn't really happen for a multitude of reasons. It's interesting that reports suggest that Boehly's trying to bring that into the Premier League. And I'm kind of here for it. It sounds fun. Like, I've got no reason to be against player trading. It's probably quite fun, isn't it? It's a bit like FIFA-y. You can have this player, you can have this player. Why not? Like, I'm all for him bringing that to European football. Anyway, let's read on. Chelsea need to sign at least 2 new central defenders, with Sevilla's Jules Kounde also high on their list, and could additionally move for a greater cover at wingback in the form of Jonathan Klaus. Of course, Jonathan Klaus, the Lens wingback, France international. We've spoken about him a couple of times. We're keeping an eye on that story here on the channel. With top-class strikers at a premium, boy don't we know, Chelsea may not sign a like-for-like replacement for Lukaku, but have identified attackers such as top target Raheem Sterling, Ousmane, Dembele, and Richarlison. Of course, we know about Rad Sterling. I think that is quite a likely signing for Chelsea at this point. Richarlison, I'm not so sure. We did look at his stats as well. The CDM, centre-back, centre-forward. Ousmane Dembele is a weird one. Reports this morning suggesting that he is, he's still very much on the list and Tuchel wants him. But we've, of course, reacted to stories here recently that he wants to stay at Barcelona. So we'll have to just put a pin in that and wait to see what happens. Tuchel has in the region of £200 million to spend, although that figure could be boosted by sales, and a senior source told the Telegraph Sport, quote, "The key is to basically work with Tuchel to come up with the best players that are available. We really want to make sure we have a good defence. We've got depth in midfield. We're not desperate for an out-and-out striker." Interesting, this source saying this. Let's read on. It continues the quote. It says, "Fortunately, there's reasonable opportunities in the market right now. In order to satisfy the fans' desire to be competitive, I think it's a combination of moves that there's 5 or 6 that we're going to look to make." Whoa, this source is real dropping positive info bombs here. Reasonable opportunities in the market. I didn't know that. Like, I thought the market was absolutely screwed. This is obviously from like a layman. I'm just like you guys. I'm just a football fan. But to hear that there's loads of opportunity in the market, that's promising to hear as a Chelsea fan, especially from an insider source saying so. And then following that with 5 or 6 signings. Woo! That is a lot. Let's read on. I'm sorry if I'm lisping, man. I'm really like mindful that if the retainers like pissing any of you off, if you can hear like, I'm lisping or you can hear it in the mic, let me know in the comments and I won't wear it next time. Cool. Despite offering Tuchel, who the Boehly Clear Lake Consortium believe is super talented, greater power, well, why not? It's a great coach. Chelsea's new owners have made their ambition clear to the German. I think the table stakes is Champions League qualification, and then anything beyond that, says the source. Obviously, from the English fans' point of view, winning the Premier League is extremely important. And then from a global perspective, winning the Champions League is extremely important. Being in a position year in, year out to be competitive. Well, we already knew that. With Marina Granovskaya following Bruce Buck out of the exit, Boehly is for now filing both chairman and sporting director roles. As well as working on transfers, he has this week made the first to instigate talks over a new contract with international Reece James. Bang, bang, bang. 20-year contract, please. Or 10 or 5. It's likely to be 5, but we all really want Reece James to be tied down for as long as possible, as soon as possible, and see that he gets compensated appropriately for his fine work. Give the lad a big contract, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea Football Club. Boehly's decision to name himself part-time sporting director has surprised some of Chelsea's rivals who have questioned whether or not he's qualified to take on the task. Pause. Mind your own friggin' business, man. Do you know what I mean? What your competitors, your rivals are like, oh, is he qualified to run your club? So what? Hope he's not, and then we fail. You silly knobbers. Silly knobbers. Cheeks. Right. But the insiders insisted that this is an interim situation. Yeah, of course. I mean, the reports suggest there was always going to be a sporting director. And that the club will get a new full-time sporting director. There we go. With a check to set to be made on whether or not Liverpool's outgoing Michael Edwards could be tempted to Stamford Bridge. Indeed, we've spoken about that on the channel, haven't we? Michael Edwards from Liverpool. He built that super Klopp team. Go back and watch that video for more information on that, friends. Doubts remain over the futures of Azpilicueta, who Tuchel wants to keep, Alonso, who, Timo Werner, Ziyech, Pulisic, and Kepa. But Chelsea's head coach has discussed the need for a large squad because of the change in rules that will allow 5 substitutions. The source finally added this quote. Obviously, with 5 substitutions coming, there's more and more opportunities for players to get minutes, which makes depth even more important. Indeed, because players will be happy that they... even if they play half an hour in a Premier League game, that's quite a long time. The 60-minute substitution where, you can bring 3 players on. And suddenly, if a player's having a bad game, you can take them off in the first half because you're like, well, I've got all these subs. I'm going to take them off in the first half. I think, this will be really good for Conor Gallagher. Even if Conor Gallagher's just this high energy, high octane sub that comes on pretty much every game for around half an hour, he'd be happy with that and then starts a few games. It's a really great opportunity, the 5 substitutions. So that's really important. Guys, let's quickly talk about the transfers and updates. Of course, there are reports going around that Ousmane Dembele is still a target. We'll have to see what happens there. Of course, like that report suggested, Raheem Sterling is still top of the table. Now, according to Sky Italy, Chelsea have offered €45 million, which is £38 million, plus Timo Werner to sign Matthijs de Ligt from Juventus. That is a lot of money. Like, Timo Werner's still got to be worth a few quid. How many years has he been at Chelsea? 2 years? He'll have 3 years left on his deal. He can't have depreciated. He's won the Champions. I mean, you could say he's depreciated because when we bought him, he was like king of the world, scoring loads of goals. Granted, he's not been that at Chelsea. He still won the Champions League and he's still got loads of minutes in a good side. I think he really should have retained his value. So let's just say 50 million. That's even if I think we bought him for 47 million. Let's say Werner's worth 50 million pounds. You add the 38, that's 88 million pounds. I suppose that's kind of near 100 million euro that Juventus won for Matthijs de Ligt. I mean, this goes with the sort of player trading. I think Todd Boehly really is like, look, we've got these assets that people want. You know, let's get trading. Let's get trading going. If Werner wants to go to Juventus, and other reports are suggesting that Timo Werner is indeed interested in going to Juventus, maybe to replace Morata. I think Morata might be on the way out, and they're similar profile players, kind of like cloak and dagger, running in behind into space and stuff. I get it. Like, and if Werner wants to go, just let him go. He's been a great servant in these 2 years. It's been weird, but it's been great. He's a really good character. He's a funny dude. I genuinely wish him all the best, and I think most of you guys probably would too. He has been very important at times. And let him, if he wants to go, let him go and do it. Totally my blessing. I understand it. I understand that it's been tricky over here. You've been a real good professional. You've not done a Romelu Lukaku. You've been a great professional. Go. And you know what, man? With Romelu Lukaku on loan at Inter, do you know who our highest earner is? Like, who's got the biggest wage? It's Timo Werner, man. And I don't begrudge him that. Again, I have absolutely no hard feelings towards him. But if you can get that, was it like £275,000 a week off your books, and he wants that to go to Juventus, you get Matthijs to Ligt that back the other way for not that much money. You get those wages off your books, like I said. Boom, boom, boom. It's okay for me. Of course, the Matthijs de Ligt story is gaining ground. I see a lot of people calling him the Dutch Harry Maguire, which I feel like is a little bit unfair. I really like him, or certainly I loved him in that Ajax team. What a leader. He was really impressive. And maybe a lot of people are saying in a back three, which I think we will keep that formation and that tactics that Matthijs de Ligt would suit Chelsea. Moreover, guys, we're continuing with the theme of supporting and backing the manager and just letting him get his own players. Afford him the same opportunity that Klopp and Pep had. Why not? And if Matthijs de Ligt is part of that, we know that Tuchel is driving transfers. Give him what he wants. He's earned that. Milan are reportedly in talks to sign Hakim Ziyech from Chelsea. The 29-year-old winger with a wonder of a left boot. Sort of, I wanted him to be our next sort of winger, more of a winger style, Cesc Fabregas. Really creative, great vision. Might not work, great. This is just Chelsea all over these last few years. Really talented players that don't work, that don't fit. Ziyech is that. If we don't play a back four, it's not really going to suit him. Fine, let him go to Milan. Apparently, he's been doing a touch with the Romelu Lukaku's and contacting them himself, which I'm pretty sure is not allowed. But whatever at this point, if he wants to go, let him go to Milan. Fabrizio Romano, I'm getting this aggregation from Cy Phillips on Twitter at Cy Phillips Sport, saying that Chelsea are genuinely interested in Matthijs de Ligt, just basically confirming that, saying, yeah, him with Kounde are the ones at the moment. Also, Chelsea genuinely interested in Nathan Ake again. Of course, a lot of you guys figured, Ake again, that we pulled him out from Bournemouth. We had the first refusal to buy him from Bournemouth after that recall. And then, no, we didn't trigger it, letting him City buy him, so why would you buy him back now? Reportedly, Thomas Tuchel has always admired Nathan Ake and was looking to sign him while he was the coach of Dortmund, so even before PSG. maybe this is an opportunity for him to get another one of his players. And of course, Fabrizio Romano is also confirming Chelsea did call Leeds for Rafinha to talk about Rafinha, but Sterling is the top priority. And Milan are also considering for a season-long loan for Hakim Ziyech, but with an obligation to buy him, which is a little bit more what we want. The fee's around 7 million euros, not much less than Romelu Lukaku, to be honest. It's wild, that deal. Well, yeah, so a loan with an obligation to buy would be quite interesting. Obviously, it might suit Milan. Financially, what do you guys think? That's been quite a long video today. Lots to get through. I'm obviously going to drop that article down in the description that we first read for your reference. Yeah, comment down below. I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on the situation, the transfers. 6 signings? It sounds like a lot, man. Comment down below. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, man, I'll see you very soon. Peace.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo, chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me, baby.